I'm Noah from PhoneDoc.com, and I'm here with the new BlackBerry Storm. I've had the device for about, oh man, about 10 and a half hours now, I guess. It was delivered this morning, Wednesday the 19th, and I've been checking it out all day, and we just posted our first written kind of mini review of the device, and then also a two-part unboxing and hands-on video you can check out. And I wanted to kind of update with this. I'm hesitant to do a full-on review, frankly, just because I've only had the phone for, not even half a day. I mean, one day, and it was a work day at that. So while I knew it was coming, I had some time set aside. I haven't really been able to hammer on it as much as I'd like to before giving a kind of final definitive assessment. So, that's just fancy talk for saying I got to play with it some more before I, can say for sure. But I'll tell you this, I'm doing this little update right now, and forgive the bad webcam. I'm at home, and it's in the evening, don't have the external camera, and you can see, this webcam isn't so great for the screen capture. It's a really bright screen. But basically, I just wanted to kind of give a little update because when I first did the unboxing, when I first started typing on the phone, if you look at the unboxing part 1 video, you'll see that I use the phone, I do the quick brown fox test, the typing test on both the SureType keyboard and then also the full QWERTY board in landscape mode. And I was pretty psyched on first trying it out. I think I said something to the effect of, this, we might have a winner here. And about 10 hours later, I just want to update with saying I'm not so sure. I think that this whole clickable touchscreen thing, there might be something to it, but it's definitely flawed. And the flaws are kind of twofold. And I don't know if we'll be able to see this so well in the light, but I'll kind of give a quick, consider this kind of the video version of the little mini review I wrote, which was called 10 Hours with the BlackBerry Storm, because that's all I've had it for. You can read that on PhoneDoc.com. But basically, here's the deal. The device in general is pretty slick, and it works pretty well. The screen looks beautiful. It's 480 by 360. It's really rich. It's vivid. Again, it's not going to show up that well with this webcam and this lighting. But it's capacitive touchscreen. It works well for, scrolling around, and video playback was good. I had a crash when I first played back the sample video, but I rebooted it once, and since then it's been totally fine. The push email, it's BlackBerry email. It works great. The device is definitely a little bit, it's not super thin and light. A little bit bigger than an iPhone. It feels bigger, I think, because it's wider, a little bit wider, a little bit shorter. Somehow it feels just like kind of more massive than an iPhone, and it weighs quite a bit more. It weighs, I think, somewhere around 25% more than an iPhone does. But compared to other BlackBerries, you'll probably be used to the size, and it's definitely pocketable. 3.2 megapixel camera on the back, video capture, autofocus, all that good stuff. Camera quality seems fine, not amazing, but video capture up to 320 by 240. VZ Navigator seems to work well. It's not a full-on touchscreen optimized user interface, but definitely, you can swipe through certain things, VZ Navigator and photos and stuff, you can swipe through all that kind of stuff. I'll go into more detail in another video when I have the better camera. But basically what I wanted to get to was kind of the main, it's a BlackBerry, so email and messaging is kind of the main calling card, even though they're making the newer BlackBerries more consumer friendly, and obviously the Storm, calling it Verizon's response to the iPhone wouldn't be entirely out of line. Let's just put it that way, not to get into comparisons and stuff. But basically, with the keyboard, the issue here is twofold. One is that, especially in the full QWERTY mode, the keys just simply aren't all that huge. And because it's a touch screen, even though you're going to click, actually the whole screen pushes down like a big button to to actually register key presses and stuff, you still have to select something before you click. So you can see the blue light that shows up as you're kind of hovering around the keys and deciding what you're going to click on. And then when you actually want to register a key press, you press the whole thing down. The whole screen kind of moves in, and then your key presses show up. And the virtual buttons are honestly just too small for really accurate touch typing. They're not all that big, and the little hover thing, it looks cool, but it actually doesn't help you all that much in trying to decide what you're pressing because it's mostly underneath your finger. And when you're touch typing, you're trying to mostly look at what you're typing anyway and not down at the keys. And it's not an ideal system. But I think even perhaps worse than that is that because the screen is all one button and you have to click to register a key press, there's actually kind of a speed limit, a mechanical speed limit built in on this thing. When I first started using it, it seemed great. As I got more comfortable with it and I tried to type faster and faster, I ran into problems because what will happen is, I'll press the Z over here and then I'll want to quickly press the M, but I need to actually lift off of the Z before, I'm exaggerating, but I need to lift off of one button before I can press the other one. And so in quick typing, what's happening is that, I'll be going kind of fast and I'll hit the Z, let's say, and then when I hit the space bar, and without meaning to, I'll hit space before I've lifted off of Z enough for the screen to release. And since you actually have to click each time, but it's all just one button, it's kind of like I'm trying to do a double click and it's only registering one. And so I wind up with typos, and there aren't spaces in between words where I mean them to be, and that sort of thing. It might sound kind of confusing, and I'll try to show it in a better video, but it's the kind of thing, if you're interested in this device, I highly recommend you go and you check it out in the store, and you spend a decent amount of time typing on it. Now, if you're just interested in the touchscreen, and you're on Verizon, and the BlackBerry messaging and stuff is kind of an afterthought, that's one thing. And if you're not a super fast typer, that's another thing. But if you're kind of a power user, you're a BlackBerry user, a heavy messenger, and you're looking for, you're like, wow, it's the whole touchscreen and it looks beautiful, and all the web browser's definitely improved. It's even a little bit faster than the Bold browser, I think. A little bit smoother as well. Renders JavaScript faster, it seems like. But if the keyboard and the messenger are important to you, I highly recommend you spend some time with this, because it's not like typing on a full QWERTY keyboard, a physical keyboard, and it's also not like typing on another touchscreen, because it's actually clicking. And while at first it's kind of cool because it feels more like button pressing, like I said, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but it's an important point. You can't actually type the rapid fire, because the whole button has to actually depress and release and depress and release and depress and release. And maybe you can get used to it, and kind of there's a trick, a muscle memory trick, to actually letting go one finger before you press the other one. But if you're used to typing on individual keys, or even on something like an iPhone or a Samsung touchscreen or something, you're used to really hitting the buttons in rapid fire, and so far I physically can't do it. Anyway, I'll spend some more time with it, check it out. Definitely, read my mini review over on PhoneDog, watch the videos, read some of the other reviews, and if you're interested in the Storm, definitely check it out. It's a very cool device. It seems to do a lot of things really well. The web, the media player, all that stuff, and the touchscreen. It's not quite as eye-candy-rific as the iPhone with all the different animations and whatnot, but it's pretty solid. It works pretty well. But the typing, the whole clickable touchscreen thing, also the predictive text system is not nearly as up to snuff as Apple's. And I don't mean that it's not a fanboy kind of thing. I just, the Apple system is really designed for the touchscreen, and it maps out the keyboard in different zones and does a really good job of predicting the word that you meant to type based on more than just, the sequence of letters. The BlackBerry system is a little less refined, and it just seems to be not quite as accurate. With the iPhone, you make a lot of typos, but the predictive text system corrects. So far, it seems like with Storm, you make a lot of typos, it doesn't correct quite as much. I actually think the typing might wind up being better in the short type mode, because the buttons are just plain bigger. So anyway, definitely worth taking a look at, trying it for yourself, and we will of course have much more on PhoneDog.com. And on Thursday the 20th, we're going to do Gadget Dog Daily live, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, www.phonedog.com/TV. I'll have the Storm on hand live. I'll be showing it to you. You can log on, chat with me, ask questions, check it out, and we'll go through it. All right? Till then, Noah from PhoneDog.com. I'm going to sleep.